The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the February's ACEC webinar, where we will be discussing the Financial Wellness Program featuring a live demo of the Personal Financial Portal. We appreciate all of you taking the time to join us today. A few items to go over with you before we get started. First, in order to ensure everyone has the ability to hear the information presented by our guest speaker, everyone will be on mute during the webinar. Second, please feel free to write in any questions you have using the Q&A tool on the webinar menu. And at the end, we will take some time to go through these together. And now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker of PensionMark, Deanna Bamford. Mrs. Bamford joined the PensionMark team in 1992 after graduating from the University of California at Santa Barbara with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications. Mrs. Bamford is the Relationship Manager for PensionMark's Northern California clientele and provides bilingual enrollment support to many of PensionMark's clients. Mrs. Bamford has obtained the Certified Employee Benefit Specialist certification, and she is fluent in Spanish. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Deanna.
Thank you for the introduction, Tori. And again, I welcome everybody on the call. And as always, we appreciate your time and your dedication to your financial wellness. This is an excellent benefit that's being offered by your employee, ACEC, and I am excited to be able to introduce you or perhaps reintroduce you to this wellness program, the different features available, and we're going to spend the majority of our time on the Personal Financial Portal and do a live demo thereof. But let me go through a couple of the topics here that we will be covering today. I should say features within this financial wellness program. The first one, of course, is the Personal Financial Portal, which, as I mentioned, I will be doing a live demonstration of. Within that, there's an employee gap needs analysis tool or feature, which I will show you on the next slide in a moment, and then I'll show you live in the portal. Of course, we want to remind you of the toll-free Financial Wellness Help Center that's available to you 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At your disposal for questions when you would like to talk to a live person. And we have our Employee Retirement Connect campaign, which includes newsletters and educational videos and such that I'll review briefly towards the end. Our online education center, or your online education center, I should say, is available to you as well, and we'll even go on to your website, the ACECRT website, and show you how to access that. And then finally, we want to remind you of social media ways to connect with us so that you have just another avenue, another way of receiving information to help you better plan and prepare for retirement. So next here on slide 3 that you see on your screen, here's just an intro to this Personal Financial Portal. What you see here is what we call the dashboard, or this would be your home page once you've logged in and set up your portal to your specifications. And let me just give you a high-level review of the things that you're going to be able to see and manage from this tool. And the first one you see listed here is it's pretty much an aggregation tool, a way for you to look at your whole financial picture in one place on one screen, very interactive and live. So you're going to be able to track your spending habits. It actually monitors your cash flow and creates budgets and compares your assets against your goals. You can access reports on your net worth and cash flow and your investments. As I mentioned, it's updated daily, real time. So every time you log in and look at it, it's got real up-to-date data. You have mobile access, and we have a little tutorial on this site on how you can access this portal with your smartphone, with your tablets, what have you. The workshops, I'll spend a little bit of time on the workshops. And that's where, in the retirement workshop, is where you see that gap needs analysis, which I think is definitely the most powerful part of the portal when it comes to retirement planning. Now, some of the other features are amazing as well. And what the nice thing is, because it's an aggregate of everything, you truly get a good picture of where you're at and how close you are to your goals and where you're truly spending. And then finally, it does even have some special little features where it can track rewards such as frequent flyer miles and either hotel or credit card points rewards so that you can get alerted as those are accumulating and before they expire. So with that, let me show you a quick on the next slide, a preview of the gap needs analysis. This is going to be part of the tutorial, part of one of the workshops. And this is where we can really get an in-depth view of your current retirement savings and how long it's going to last, and also strategize on how to fill the gap, which is your shortfall from what you have now, what you project to save and earn, and how long that's going to last through your retirement. So this is just a bit of a preview of what, again, is available to you. So with that, we're going to do a quick switch here over to the ACEC-RT website. So this hopefully looks familiar to all of you on the call here. This is your homepage website. And from here, if you go to the Participant Education Center at the top right-hand corner, that's going to link you, right? And we'll show you once you click on that. This is what comes up, and we're going to go again at the end through some of the other features on this page. But right now, we're going right to this. On the top left-hand corner, the Financial Wellness Portal, and then the top right-hand corner is your actual link to connect. So once you have opted to participate in this program, and perhaps you've signed up or requested to be signed up, then you're going to receive an email to set up. We'll get an email with a temporary user name and a temporary user password. Once you have established your personal information, when you clicked on that tab, the first thing before this dashboard were to appear, what would come up would be for you to enter your, again, your personal username and password. And then as soon as you do that, this is the screen you would see. And again, we're showing you just a demonstration of fictional people. So it's already been preloaded with some data so that we have something we can look at here. And I'm going to show you how you're going to be able to, once you load in all your data and link your accounts, this is going to be accessible to you with your information. So let's just quickly, this is the home page, and we call this the dashboard. And each one of these tiles has some specific pertinent information to your financial life. And the top left-hand corner here, we always want to refer you back to your ACEC Financial Wellness Help Center. That's important because if you ever get stuck or need further assistance, that is the number that you call, and at the end of this webinar today, we're going to make sure we leave that up there so that you have that toll-free number and the website address to access that home page and to get the assistance you may need. Then moving here to the right, the next few tabs here in the middle, these are interactive. You see the arrows down at the bottom. So this net worth, again, once you have populated your information, it's going to give this, it's going to drive this net worth to you, live data. You can scroll through and check your cash to debt ratio. And again, it's live daily. Keep scrolling through here. You can look at just this month and year to date and see if you're up or down, positive or negative. We always like to see greens, right, and not the reds. And keep scrolling here and then back to your net worth. And then over here to the right is your investment tab. And this is where all the investments that you have are loaded in, and you can take a look at your asset breakdown. You can scroll through and look at your total value of your investments and the value change that day, today. You can also look, break it down by investments, all your different investments there, and their change in value to date. And that continues investments. And then again, just back to total investments today with a little bit of a chart looking backwards 1 year to see how the growth has been. And then in the middle here, you've got your spending. And again, I'll show you how to input the data so that this can be prepared for you. But again, an interactive site here, so you can look at what you've spent for the month, and it's classified and broken down to you, so you can see where it's been spent, any cash withdrawals, and you can break it down by recent transactions, where the money's been spent. So sometimes you're actually able to catch things here before you get a bank statement and look at it that way. And then over to the right, we've got some budgeting. Again, that's going to be as a result of all the spending that you've put in. It's going to give you how your budget is looking for the month. And then down at the bottom here is where you can add your protection. This would be any insurance, life insurance and such that you have. And to the right here, we've got this tour guide. You're going to see this lovely lady here in several different places. And if you ever just have a question or need a quick tutorial, an overview, we have the tutorial here, and again, scrolling through. So if you need some information on how you can access this from a mobile device, you can learn more there on the mobile site. And then, as I mentioned earlier, when you're trying to manage your awards and such and track those, there's a little tutorial here on how to do that. And then finally here, over here on your left, is all your accounts. So there's 6 different categories of accounts that will be listed, and they'll categorize all of your investments and links, everything that in a moment here I'm going to show you how to link your accounts, and it'll categorize it as cash, credit cards, investments, which will include obviously your 401k, any outside investments, IRAs or brokerage accounts or college savings accounts, life insurance, loans, which of course could include a mortgage, car loans, and property values. So you're able to, again, input your primary residence as well as any other business or other properties that you may have that is a part of your total financial picture. So again, we're just looking at a very powerful, comprehensive site where you can, in one place, kind of a one-stop shop, see your total picture. And just to point out real quick, where ACEC's Financial Wellness Program is here to assist you is really with the investments and the retirement planning portion of this portal. So if you call or log on and you want assistance, we are not able to view your spending and budgets. That is blocked off. That is private information for you and for your planning needs. So we don't have access to that unless you would like to give that to us for whatever reason, and I'll show you at the end on the settings, the privacy and how you manage that. But as a default, our service at the Financial Wellness Service Center, is to just assist you in making sure you're seeing what you're seeing and direct you in ways to better manage your current investments and potential future moves that you make to help fund that retirement need. Okay, so with that, let's get right into the second tab. So we're on the home here. I'm going to go to the second tab, the organizer. This is where the magic starts and happens. This is where you're going to start inputting and connecting your accounts. And again, what I'm showing you here is a demo, so it's already pre-populated with some information. There have already been, in this sample, 37 accounts added. So if you had already added your accounts and you clicked on accounts, it would list all your different accounts. Again, you could include everything you can think of that you can link onto online and really try to get it all in there. And so how do you add? Again, this is a sample, but how you're going to add is this add button here at the top. So when you first log in, yours is going to be blank and you're going to start adding accounts. And I don't believe I mentioned in the beginning, but there is some, obviously, some very, very tight security associated with this site because you are linking all your financial accounts. But the one good thing is this is a kind of view-only site. It is non-transactional. So once you're in your portal and you can view all your transactions, all your history, but you're not able to take distributions out or move money around within the site. So it's non-transactional, as well as there is a certain technology, I believe it's called a scrape or scrub technology. So right now what we're looking at is how to link your accounts. So when I clicked add, it shows you, okay, so who do you want to connect to? So you can either name it by the institution's name, simply Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, whatever, or whatever your 401k site is, or the actual website address, if you know that and are more confident with that. So either way, it's nice. It's a little fail-proof. If you suffer from some lack of technology knowledge, as I do, I'm sorry to admit that is not my strength, and I was able to easily link my accounts. I was very excited because it was so much easier than I thought. So let me just show you as an example here real quick. Let's say you've got a Bank of America checking account and hit search because, you know, perhaps I don't know the website, I don't have it on me. And then it's going to search and give us a list of all the accounts with Bank of America that could potentially be linked online. And so they're broken down by different states in this case. And so I'm out of California, so I'm going to link to California and click there and see what happens. And so here we go. So here is the connection to my institution, and this should look familiar to you up here. And that you should say, okay, yeah, that's what it, you know, that looks like the site key when I log on to my bank account online. That's what it looks like. And so what it's asking you for is your online ID and passcode when you log on to this site. So one time here, I would put in my online ID and type in my passcode and hit connect, and it's going to instantly link my account, any account that I have at Bank of America, to this portal site. And so, for example, in my case, it would be on my, you know, my debit account, my checking. If you have a credit card with them, if I had a home equity loan or anything that I had through that institution would come up and link me on, and the information is there. So one time I have to put in that password, and then that scrape technology erases it. It does not store passwords anywhere in this portal. Again, another security feature that once that link is made, it's done. You do not have to go in and, you know, continually re-enter the link to get that connection. And so now it's got a history of all my transactions in that account, and moving forward, we'll continue to track those transactions. So that's how you add accounts one at a time. Let me see if I can go back to, okay, so again, in this example, we had already, there was already accounts pre-populated. So again, this is going to be as good as the information you put in. The more you can put in, the better. You know, your connection, if you have a home mortgage, credit cards, 529 plans, anything you can think of here to add is going to be a big investment. And it'll start categorizing it for you. You see here across the top those same 6 accounts. It'll categorize it. Is it a cash account? You know, if it's just your checking. Is it a credit card, investment, insurance, loan, other? Okay. So once you've completed that section, it takes a little bit of time, and then you're set. You're done. So now we're going to move down the organizer here in these tabs down the side. So the second one is for your real estate or your property, where you can input the values of any and all property that you have. And this is nice. So here, this example, we have a home that's been put in here, and that's all. And so to add any property, again, once again, you go to add, and you can put in the value of the property, and that takes that into account. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving along here. Down to the next one is your family and friends tab. This is a quick one to populate. You add, you could put yourself in your birth date, your spouse, significant other. Important to include them and put their birth date, because, well, again, when you're doing these workshops and this financial planning, you need all that information. And any children or dependents that you have as well that are, you know, financially dependent in some way, or that you will be planning for their future in some way, you can add everybody in on that tab there. And then next in line, professional contacts. So it's already going to be pre-populated with your ACEC RT financial wellness contact information, the help center website, our email address, and the contact number. So you know how to contact us, but you're able to add to this professional contacts. You can add your accountant. If you have somebody that prepares your taxes for you, that's a good one to have on here. If you work with an attorney, or even, you know, medical professionals, anybody that you feel would be important to have in your contacts here. Next is your income, expenses, and savings. Okay, and there's going to be ways to customize these and spend a little time on it, but a very quick and simple way. Once you have linked your accounts, first you want to go into your annual income and adjust those, add those, and you want to put you and your spouse or any other working person in your household that's contributing. And you can go ahead and customize salaries and bonuses, who this belongs to, for the calendar year, when it starts and when it ends, and what that annual income is before taxes, so gross. So then you're going to just slowly add any income that you have coming in. This is going to help you, obviously, with your budget. And then once you've done that, your expenses are down below, your annual living expenses. And this is, could be a bit overwhelming, but the good thing is you can click this button, estimate from spending, and it will just look back at all the accounts you've linked and categorize your expenses accordingly to where you have spent it and create this expense report for you. And then you can also add itemized lists, perhaps something that you pay for in cash that's not tracked. You can also delete some if you say, no, that was just a one-time deal. That's not an ongoing expense for me. And then I'll show you too in the spending you can go in and customize or categorize differently, because they might have categorized one of your spendings as perhaps food or clothing or something. Now with these multi-stores where you can pretty much buy anything you need, you might want to go in and do a little customization so that you know what exactly you're spending on at that particular location. Okay, so that can be real quick. Again, just use the estimate button. And then the longer that you're utilizing this portal, the more accurate it becomes and the more data it has to pull from. And that's exciting, because that's when you really can see the benefits long term of creating budgets and planning for future large financial events. Okay, so the next tab down is future goals. So this is where you can prioritize future financial goals, as I mentioned, where you're going to be spending money. So you're going to be putting in your retirement age, your goal to retire at. You can add any education expenses if you've got children you're expecting to pay college for, and any other major expenses down below too. If you're planning a big wedding or family reunion vacation or a purchase of a property, you can include all that in there as well under future goals. And then you can also, in this next tab here, prioritize your financial goals. So you can change. So here again, we've got Steve and Sarah. This is our demonstration couple here. And Steve's got planning for retirement as his #1 and college savings and managing budget. But he might say, you know what, at this point, I need to manage my budget. That's my #1 priority. So you can see these are all movable, and you can move the tiles. And Sarah may say, college saving for college, that's kids are getting older when you start worrying about that. So you can prioritize those and change those as needed. And then finally, your last tab here under the organizer, and very important, don't skip this step, it just takes you a few minutes, is the risk tolerance questionnaire. And again, this is an important part of your overall picture, especially as you're doing these projections and workshops. They want to make sure the system has some understanding of your tolerance for risk. And that's going to help determine your asset allocation. So here there's 12 questions listed, and you go in quickly. It doesn't take but a few minutes to go in and answer these questions, all 12 of them. Multiple choice, no essays necessary. So I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom after the 12th one. Once you've completed them all, you get your risk score at the bottom here. So you've got this kind of timeline here from conservative to aggressive, moderate in the middle, and in this example, you're somewhere in the middle of moderate and aggressive. So once you've done that, you save your results, and you have completed the organizer. And again, really, it should only have to do that once. Occasionally, you want to go back in and update. Maybe you need to add an account, delete an account, and such. But once you've done that, you're ready to move on and start looking at some of the other features. Now, the workshops I'm going to end in, so I'm going to skip that for right now. That's got that nice little gap analysis retirement calculator. But I'm going to move on over here to the next tab, spending. And under the spending tab, Again, this is already can be pre-populated if you had it go ahead and estimate for you. But this is a great, what a breakdown. The first thing that comes up is an overview of this past month. And again, as I said, over time, as you've been in the portal for some time, this is going to get more and more accurate to your true spending. And so it's going to categorize and break down where are you spending according to, the links to all those accounts. And you get a nice picture here of what it looks like, where the majority of your money is going to, whether it's auto. And the unclassified, it's interesting, you can click on the unclassified and see what is it that's unclassified and go ahead and classify that. I had that on my own account when I went in. There was, checks that you write. Sometimes they don't know what that's for. And I don't worry about it if it's a one-time deal, but if it's an ongoing every month, then you can classify it so that you have a better idea of what it is. So here is an overview of your spending. You can view it by category. This is your spending. You can view history, budget. You can view all accounts, or you can just look at specific accounts. And then up at the top here, you can go to the budget section and take a look at your overall budget. Very interesting. Again, it knows what's coming in income-wise and what you're spending. And it gives you this past month you can do, or you can scroll down and do a year at a time, or you can do a custom date range as well. And then finally, the last tab under the spending is going to be your transactions, and it will list all recent, here it goes, the last 30-day transactions, and you can pick which account as well. And so you've got this information, perhaps before you even get your bank statements or go online, or you could actually catch something here that doesn't look right or unexpected before you get notified elsewhere. So a great place to track your spending and make sure it's what it is supposed to be. And then your next tab over is investments, and this is a great one because, again, you have this access probably on your 401k website where you can go in and you can see how your investments are split up, but that is just one, potentially just one piece of the puzzle. This would aggregate anything you have categorized as investments in this and give you a total current value of all your investments put together. So this is a summary of all investments, or you can pick and choose and say, oh, I just want to look at just this one, or this 401k, or just my one qualified retirement plan. But to be able to see them in aggregate and to see today's change. So again, live data, so you know the difference of, how is it doing today. You can get some history on the last year. How is my account done? You can go to the next tab here to look at allocation. And this gives you a breakdown of asset types on all your money, which, again, I think is just so powerful, especially these days when perhaps a lot of your money inside your retirement plan is all in one of those, target dates or kind of catch-all funds, the do-it-for-me series, and you're not really sure exactly where your money is truly being invested in. And so this aggregates not only your account, but potentially your spouse or significant others' investments as well, and puts it all together and breaks it down so you can see how much of your money is in U.S. equities, large cap, mid cap, small cap, how much is in the taxable bonds and tax-exempt bonds and others, which would include your unclassified and your cash. So you get a really nice breakdown here of what you have in your investments. And then you can do some analysis, take a look, backwards look and see how has it performed in the last recent month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, lifetime. You can take a look at, broken down by account and chart it out for you, your net change in value. And again, the different time frames. And then finally, again, your transactions. So take a look if you're doing any active trading on transactions. You can do that as well. And, perhaps you don't have any in this example. We don't. So that's the investments. Again, some good information. And then the next tab you have here, let me scroll up so you can see the top of the page, is the vault. And this is a great place to store important documents. So you can upload soft copies of things such as you have a living trust, a will, life insurance policies. These are, obviously very important documents that I'm sure you have filed and saved somewhere, but here is one place you can have them all, at least electronically, where you and your spouse both have access to them and know where they are. So this can be a nice feature for you to use as well. And then you have your reports. And here you can do some fun stuff and really look at your balance sheet and take a look at how all your accounts are doing. You can take a look at your current asset allocation, which we did in the investments as well. Insurance summary. Let's see. You can do an asset summary, liabilities and expenses summary. Just show you a couple examples, but all kinds of reporting that you have at your disposal here. And then you're able to print these too. So these, again, this can be really great information when and if you'd like to share it with another wealth manager or financial professional that's asking. And this was under the asset allocation one. So this is a good report here. And you can say here you can show all assets, or potentially you can just look at your retirement assets. Let's say I just want to look at my retirement assets, and I want to see, out of all my retirement money, how do my assets look? What is my split? And so here is your current allocation, and it breaks it down by, again, stocks and bonds and large cap and small cap and international, so you know where your money is currently. And then over to the right, you have a recommended portfolio based, again, on your risk tolerance questionnaire. And it says, well, according to, you being somewhere between moderate and aggressive, this would be a recommended portfolio. And so you can compare and say, well, I'm a little light on some of these asset classes. I'm heavy, in this example, heavy pink, which is going to be your bonds or your unclassified, and this is a recommended. So, there's a little work to be done, some recommendations, and it just gives you ideas. So again, just tools to help you. So that's the reporting feature. So now let's go back to the workshop, and let me highlight one of the many workshops we have. And again, you can play a tutorial on what's available. We have investment workshops if you really want to delve into those asset allocation models and what's best for you. You can look about, personal finances. You can look into life insurance, college planning. Boy, you want an eye-opener there. Look at college education and what the cost is going to be there. If you haven't done that already, that can be a scary tax to do. But I'm going to look here at the retirement one. I'd like to look at that together with you, and so you'll recognize and see that gaps needs analysis and know how to get there and what you can do, how you can use that to best serve your needs in planning for retirement. And you might have something similar to this on your, again, on your retirement plan provider website, and those are great, but the limitation there is they're only focused on that one account, whereas here we're looking at the whole big picture. We're looking at your whole financial makeup, including your spouse, including other investments that you have earmarked for retirement. So here you have this wheel, and you have this customizable strategy. So right away it starts with retirement ages, and you can, again, interactive, you click on it, and you can adjust those. So Steve is hoping to start retirement at age 63 and Sarah 65, but there's a big shortfall here. They're going to run out of money. So what if Steve waited a couple years? What if he just waited? Let's push him out. Oh, poor Steve. We don't want to push him out too far. But let's say he's out to, if he waited and worked till age 68, that would solve his problem. There you go, fully funded. But maybe that's not what he wants to do. We don't want to keep working that long. So let's put him back to, 65. There we go. That helped a little. So you see it's immediate, interactive, responsive system. It's going to start moving the wheel according to your inputs. So you can list here who the primary wage earner is, and again, play around with the retirement. And you can also change the end retirement date. So, you know best your family longevity, and so you can extend and or shorten. And that also would have an effect on the wheel and how much you're funded to. Okay, so that is that. Let's go back real quickly here. Yearly retirement expenses. So this is going to be the nice thing. Now here is where this is a very customized feature, where some of the other calculators you've done, they just estimate, they usually do somewhere between 70 and 80% of your final year's earnings is what you're going to need in retirement to maintain your standard of living. Well, here you can base it, they are basing it on your true annual expenses today and projecting that you're going to not need quite as much at retirement, but you can check this box, help me estimate that, and get some assistance on getting a true picture of what your expenses are going to be in retirement. That makes a big difference on how much you're going to need, right? So that's a nice customizable feature there as well. Back to here, we've got existing, your existing savings, and so it's going to show you which accounts you have earmarked for retirement, and you can change, and or so it only checked here, it'll only check this 401k and this retirement plan. You might say, oh no, I'm also going to be using you know, this other account, and this IRA is also going towards my retirement, so you can pick and choose which accounts are earmarked for retirement, and that can make a significant difference as well. And back, monthly contributions, again, you can adjust and play with that. So you need to put in how much you're currently contributing to your retirement plan. If there's any employer matching contribution, you want to, of course, include that, as well as for your spouse and any other investments you might have. So that's important, too, to show how much you're contributing and to change that as you change it. And your yearly retirement income as well, you can go and customize that. And inflation and growth weights, they're going to put in, you know, an estimate inflation rate of 3%, a savings growth rate of 7.5%, which is kind of based on your risk tolerance portfolio in an appropriate mix. But you can play with those and say, inflation's been low, I think it's going to be lower, it's going to be higher. So again, you have the capability of changing those. Ooh, see, I increased inflation and they just lost a lot of money there. So this is again where it's really powerful. So this is showing you years you're funded of retirement. The next tab down here is a more traditional view of an asset drawdown, we call it. So it's kind of showing your money going in, money coming out, and when you're going to run out. So a different way of looking at it, and it telling you Sarah's going to run out of money at 85. And then you can look at details too and see where the money is actually coming from. You know, break it down by investment, and then separating out the expenses, and then see it listed that way. So different ways of looking at it. So that is your workshop. And then finally, I want to show you up at the top here, you have an education center, help, join screen sharing, and then settings. And I'm going to quickly show you the settings button and click on that because I like this. There is a way for you to set automatic notifications and alerts on your personal financial portal, and you can have them emailed to you, and you can say, you know, how often to notify you. You can also set very specific alerts saying, okay, you know, I just want a weekly financial update, and that'll be emailed to you. But you can also have it tell you when a certain balance or certain account is below a certain level. Let's say, you know, when my checking gets below $500 or whatever your threshold is, notify me. And so you would turn on it's currently off, turn it on. I want a notification. When my credit card gets above a certain balance, I want to be notified. And so other just settings that you can use there. And this is also where your security button is. This is where you would change your password if you needed to do that, and security questions. And finally, the privacy tab. This is where you can allow or disallow your advisor, we call it, but that's your Financial Wellness Help Center, either see or not see data beyond the investment and retirement data. Okay? So let me just take us back to the home real quick just to leave you with a nice sight of the dashboard. And then we're going to switch back to the presentation and go through the last couple slides here quickly. And I just want to make sure I point out and that you're aware of the other features of the Financial Wellness Help Center. So again, I just want you to know that there is a toll-free 844 number that you can call between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. anytime in any and all time zones, and or you can, of course, log into the website. But you can talk to a registered specialist and discuss your financial wellness plan and that portal. So it's important that you know that those are available to you. And then the other part of the Wellness Center, aside from the portal, you have the Employee Retirement Connect. We call it kind of a campaign. So included in that are the monthly educational webinars, which we're doing here today, February. It's on the portal demo. We have emails that are sent to you, I believe every month or every other month, call to action, and newsletters that come out, and market insights, guide to the markets. Those are some more in-depth, and the weekly market recap. So those are more in-depth investment related pieces, education, information that's available to you. And all this is on your education website. Well, let's take a look at the next slide here. And then, so you have this online education center, and that's at your acecrt.com. And on that site is where you can view these educational videos, these recorded webcasts. So here we go. This is important so you can take a look at, again, let's go back to the homepage and then the Participant Education Center, which we're clicking on here at the top. And then so here is where we already talked about the portal, but here's your Retirement Connect calendar, so you can see which pieces are going to be coming out and when. And you can get your newsletters that have been posted previously. We can go to, there's financial wellness, there's tips, quick tips. You've got your webinars that have been pre-recorded. You've got your newsletters that are all available to you down at the bottom there. So, so just great access to information. We want to make sure you have every tool you can to just help you prepare. And sometimes it's easier just to go and look for a topic. And then again, if all else fails, again, if you don't have the luxury of sitting in front of a computer screen all day and have access to this, you can also connect with us through social media. So you can, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn. And what that can do for you is just help get information to you, news feeds, just push out information, reminders, things to be thinking about in help planning for retirement. So encourage you to utilize whatever works best for you. And then finally, just want to remind you of, again, how to connect, how to get involved with your Financial Wellness Help Center. So we've got the website address and we've got the number to reach us, and just really want to help you with these tools. And I hope that you found that beneficial. The portal tutorial, and I know it's a lot of information, and there's some great videos, as I've mentioned, on site if you want another refresher, or you can listen to a recorded version of the webcast. But that pretty much concludes my portion, and Tori, I would love to address any questions that may have come in.
Thank you, Deanna. We appreciate you sharing your time and knowledge today. And as Deanna mentioned, we will start addressing some of those questions as they filter in. At this time, we do not have any questions, so I just want to open up the opportunity to the attendees out there. Please feel free to type in your questions using the Q&A tool on your webinar menu. And as Deanna mentioned, if you don't have questions for us now, you are welcome to reach out via email to financialwellness@acecrt.com, or you can give us a call at the Help Center, and that number is 844-ACECRT8. Looks like we have one question coming in. What happens when you leave employment or retire? Do you still have access?
Great question. I was hoping that would come up. Yes, it's part of being part of this network, and because this association with ACEC, you have access to this. If you were not part of ACEC, you would not, but because you are, and if you take advantage of it now, it stays with you. So that is a great question. Yes, you get to keep it with you. So take advantage now and utilize that on, because I think there's a time for this in every stage of life. I have really embraced it over the last year, and enjoying working with it. And for young people just starting, wow, how awesome to have these tools at your disposal when you're just starting out. When you're somewhere in the middle, that's where it gets kind of confusing and you want to make sure you're on track. And when you're getting towards closer to that retirement date, which is very exciting but also very scary, you especially need it, and even through retirement. That's why that's a great question, because this planning and this visibility is just as essential, you know, at 20 as it is at 60 and 70. So yes, you get to keep it.
Our next question is referencing the ability for kids, participants' kids, to be able to use these resources.
That's interesting. That hasn't come up yet. That's up to you whether you would want to give them access. I suppose it could be a great learning tool, but as far as they would not be able to set up their own portal account unless they had an association, you know, they could share in yours. I guess that's the answer. If you wanted to give them access to the family portal, to yours, unless they, you know, were with ACEC, they would not be able to link on to their own portal. Hopefully that answers your question. I like the idea, though.
Great. Thank you, Deanna. It appears that we have no more questions at this time, so this will conclude our webinar session today. Thank you again, Deanna, and thank you all of the participants for joining us. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to our next webinar series with you. Take care.